everybody, and welcome to the Rice and Beans podcast. I am your host, Grayson, aka Rice.
And I'm your host, Camilo, aka Beans.
Now, Camilo,
Grayson.
you
Beans.
just recently
Rice.
You just recently turned 18, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Which means you're getting ready to go off to college. Which means that we can unfortunately no longer have sex.
Damn it, you're right. I'm gonna miss that sex so much. I'm
So,
gonna have to buy a fleshlight with your face planted on it.
So, I want you to go in the Wayback Machine with me for a little bit. Back in elementary school, when you were a wee little chap,
and I didn't have any pubes on my pee-pee.
I guess you could say that.
You didn't either.
Yeah, but
you didn't have any pubic hair. Unless you did, unless you were a freaking Goliath and just go.
Thanks for joining the podcast, everybody. Okay, so, and as most young little chaps in elementary school did, we had sex education, correct? Now, we both went to separate elementary schools. We did not grow up in the same school together, so sex education can be different varying from school. So, how was it for you?
Well, for me, it wasn't like sex education. It wasn't like, look, this is how humans reproduce. For us, it was in 6th grade. The girls were divided into... The guys and girls were divided. The girls went to another classroom, and we went to another classroom.
Yeah, that's what happened with us, too.
And there came like a representative of like, I don't know, like a health organization or something. And they got us a video and everything, and they played it for us. And for us, it talked about like the body and everything, and how it changes, and how your schlong grows out, and how much hair you can get, and all that, and how much you smell like crap whenever you don't use deodorant. It was essentially that, and we were all like giggling like little Asian girls and all that. After that we turned on the lights and everything because we were in dark mode, wink wink. And he was like, "Okay, anybody have any questions?" And if you would ask a question, they would hand out like these small deodorants. Some of them were Axe.
How old were you?
I was in 6th grade.
6th grade?
I don't know, like 12, 11.
So they handed out... I can't remember when I started using deodorant. But that was your gift. That was your reward for...
If you answered a question, and like at recess, the people that got their deodorant would flex their little deodorant. Like, look at what I got.
I asked a question about sex.
We made fun of someone about that. He's like, shut up. The only reason you got that is because you asked a question about your penis.
For me, it was, they separated the boys and the girls in 2 different classes. And for us, we were put with the gym teacher, Did you
get your annual penis inspection checks?
No, that was earlier that morning. But he'd be like, okay, no laughing, right? You know, you can't laugh. Which, I mean, what do you expect? We're a bunch of little children making jokes about penises. How do you expect us not to laugh? But they played the video, and, you know, they don't go deep into it. They're just like, this is just what happens whenever you're a boy. You will one day produce semen. Spermatozoa. And, you know, all the boys were giggling. And it started off with a couple boys that would giggle, and then the teacher would be like, okay, get out in the hall, you know? And we'd be like, Jesus, I guess we're not supposed to giggle at this, right? But it got progressively to where everybody was giggling in the class, and the teachers couldn't keep up with us. And we'd walk out of class, and, you know, we'd all feel very changed and be like, I'm going to get hair down there, you know? And then the girls would walk out of their classroom, and then they'd be crying because they realized that someday, once a month, the devil is going to come out of the ground and scratch at their freaking uterus and make them bleed.
They're going to have a software update every month.
But that was my experience with it, so...
Well, my, we didn't really talk about sex and all that. Not like finger hole sex, but like sexual education and protection and all that, and STDs and all that until freshman year. Because my middle school we only talked about drugs and everything, and that was until 8th grade year. It's like, look what the meth can do to your teeth. So freshman year, we had like this teacher. We're gonna call her Miss Sebastian.
Miss Sebastian.
Yes, and Miss Sebastian, she was like really like at the beginning, like the very first day of class, she's like, "You guys can ask me any questions. I won't be embarrassed at all. It's rare that I get embarrassed." And it was like a bunch of freshman boys in a class with a female talking about STDs, sex, condoms, fucking UIs or whatever they're called, and all that. And that's when we started talking about it. And then we really tested her patience because, like, she said she never got embarrassed, but eventually we did get her embarrassed and got her to talk about her stuff and her life mistakes and everything. It was just wild. No, I never paid attention in that
Give me an
class.
example, like life mistakes.
Like, she was talking about how she had her kid at, like, 17 or something. Like, a young age or something like that.
Did I ever tell you about how I didn't know that girls had different parts?
What do you mean?
Well, I knew they didn't have like a penis, but
They didn't have a Squidward nose down
yeah,
there?
no one ever told me that girls had different parts than boys. So I don't know how old I was, but I was clearly very little to not know this. But like my mother never explained to me, hey, girls have vaginas. So I just associate, well, I guess they pee out of their butt. So
My mom never taught me about that. My parents never talked to me about reproduction or anything. My dad one time caught me doing anything, but like he was like, "Do you know what it is?" And I was like, "Yeah, I know what it is." No, yeah, I know what it is and all that. And he was like, so you do know.
I see. My dad took me for like a drive and he was explaining it, but he didn't explain everything, so I just knew that like PP get hard sometime.
PP can get confused sometimes too, and that's okay. So what were we saying about your mom?
What do you mean?
How like she never told you about that a woman had a vagina? And
Yeah,
you
that's
thought
it. I just for like a couple years thought girls peed out of their butt, and I'm not ashamed of that either. I pride myself on that.
I mean, I knew girls had a vagina. I just didn't know it was called a vagina.
No one told me. How was I supposed to know the girls had a part?
Okay, but like, do you think like kids, like elementary school kids, should learn about that, or do you think they should wait until high school? Because you gotta know, like, them kids. There are some kids that like bloom early and like are horn dogs by like 7th grade and get pregnant in 8th grade. I've seen that happen a load of times. Huh? Wink, wink. No pun intended. Load.
Well, you're very subtle, but I mean, maybe. I mean, I wouldn't. Go look at yourself from a parent's perspective. Would you want your baby, the light of your life, your world? You cradled this thing in your arms. Would you want it at that age to know about sex and how he or she was made?
Yes. I do.
Yeah.
Huh? What about you?
I mean, I'd probably middle school is when.
Well, yeah, not middle school. Yes.
Technically,
Technically, 6th grade is middle school. It's just in our county, specifically our county, because like surrounding counties, their middle school starts in 6th grade. So like, yeah, 6th grade is middle school. So I assume they already teach them in middle school.
Yeah, like at least by the time you get to middle school, you should know.
So 6th grade.
Yeah, 6th grade.
So recently, there's like this show on Netflix called Black Sunday. And this is like completely off topic, but there's this show on Netflix called Black Sunday, and it's about this, like, I guess you could say zombie apocalypse happens, and it tells the point of view of different people, and like every episode is the point of view of every people, and they sometimes meet and they sometimes don't, and that sparks up the question, Rice, how would you survive a zombie apocalypse? Like, what would you, moment you knew there was a zombie apocalypse and the world was going to shit, what would you do?
Can I interject real quick? Interject, like, about once a week, I have, this is going to sound weird, but about once a week, and I'm not even joking, I have a dream that I am in a zombie apocalypse. And I don't know if that's weird. I don't know if anybody else gets that, but I think like, is that like a sign I'm like a future serial killer? That I have like these horrible dreams
Well,
of just.
if you're a serial killer, do you like take like boxes of Lucky Charms and like smash them on the fucking driveway or something?
What does that have to do with serial killing?
You kill cereal.
As soon as I said it, it trend. Okay. Tell me more about Black Sunday.
I think it's called Black Sunday, but
Is it like Black Summer or something like
Black Summer, yes.
Black Summer, yes.
Yes,
I've never
yes,
seen
yes,
it, but I have seen it come up on
Black
Netflix.
Summer. I'm stupid. But how would you react that way? Because like the very first people you meet is like these people. It's like this family. It's a woman, a man, and a child, and the Coast Guard or Army or whatever like goes up to their town like street. They pick out people and they check their temperature and everything, and they take the girl, but the mom and the dad stay, and we end up finding out that the dad is infected, and she has to kill him and run away and everything. And I don't remember that much, but what would you do like in a situation like that
Of a zombie apocalypse. You
know?
know,
Here, let's start two scenarios.
Okay.
First scenario is you're alone. You're an adult.
Without an adult, okay.
You're an adult. You're alone. You don't have anybody to worry about. And once we get that out of the way, we're going to talk about in that woman's situation. You have someone that you deeply care about, and what would you do if they got infected? Let's start with the you're alone one.
Okay, so if I was alone, I feel like stalking or just going like I have a basement where I live. But I don't know, like, I'd instinctively feel like, go raid everything, then go down to my basement and live there for the rest of my life. So I just stockpile as much food, weapons. I'd go to, like, the nearest Walmart, because you can buy guns at Walmart, God forbid. But...
I don't think you can anymore.
Not anymore?
I don't
You
know.
can at least get, like, a revolver at Walmart.
Not a revolver. I think, like, a shotgun or something like that.
But, like, I'd go to my nearest Walmart,
Get weapons. How about that?
Yeah, I'd at least try to get like some kind of like axe or something or a hammer to at least fight to fight off these Zambos. But then I would stockpile as much food, anything like that can be preserved for a long time, like beef jerky, beans, beef jerky. Like good old Chef Boyardee is yeah. Just eat out of the can.
I remember the Chef Boyardee commercial. I don't know if you've seen it. The one where the girl's like, "Mom, can we have this for dinner?" And the mom's like, "No." Puts it back, and they leave, and the freaking little can like drops off the shelf and starts rolling all the way to the house. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Did you ever see like the mac and cheese commercial? I think it was mac and cheese with the dinosaur, and it just knocks down all the shelves.
No, I've never seen that.
But anyways. So in that situation, I just go out like maybe once a week, raid, then I go back home, stay down in my basement. But also, there's the factor of if you stay down in your basement and somehow zombies get in, you're kind of screwed, because there's no exits except for the main door, right? But in the situation of I have somebody that I love and I care about deeply, and they get infected. Well, the obvious thing that I'd do is I'd have to put them out of their misery, because, they...
Okay, question.
Mm-hmm.
Would you put them out of their misery before they turn, or would you do it after they turn, when they're trying to kill you?
It depends on how much pain they're in, I guess. Like, if they're in excruciating pain, and they're just like, please, just end it, I'd end it for them. But, like, if they were like, oh, I just have a fever, and I'd feel... I'd want to hold on as long as I could, but I'd just for their sake and my sake, just seeing the person that I love go through that, I'd probably try to put them out as soon as I could.
Okay.
What would you do in this situation?
Okay, if I was alone, I would honestly do what you did, and no, I honestly wouldn't do anything. I would get the food I have right now and use that, put some wood around the doors and windows and everything where anybody could get in, And then once I like a week or two pass and my food completely runs out and I have to go get food and some stuff like that, I would find around the house like some like I would get like a chair leg or something like that and attach a butcher knife to the end of it with duct tape so I can like use it as a spear and go around. I would go around it at daytime, probably in a car,
Mm-hmm.
and then come back and then just live out here. And honestly, I think I wouldn't like be mentally like capable of I would for like a month be like capable of staying here alone for a whole month. Probably have like a pet or something like to keep you company so you don't go crazy.
New question. What would you do in the situation that you are now, being at home with your family?
Bullshit. See, that's a question that like pops into my mind. I'm like,
Because for me,
I feel like I have technically three sisters. One of them's a year old, one's about to be 5, and one's about to be 10, and they can't like defend themselves unless they're boy. But I would honestly like, obviously would have to like set rules on what to do, like not make any loud noises, not draw any attention to ourselves, and only the adults could go out, and possibly my oldest sister, she's about to be 14 this year, like just go out and not buy, like loot whatever we can, probably try our neighbors, because one of my neighbors stockpiles a shit ton of things and like nothing is going on. Like with this whole pandemic, he stockpiled like 10 cases of 36-pack water bottles. So like,
is he like a doomsday prepper or something?
I guess, I don't know. But like, I would check there and I would like knock on the door and be like, hello? And if he doesn't answer, I would bust down the door and I would like tell my sister to like grab all the stuff, and then my sister and dad would grab all the stuff and then just take it back to the house, and I'll be like at the door right there ready to like attack if he's like like infected or something like that.
So in your scenario, you're the leader.
Yes.
Your dad's not the leader?
I love my dad to death, but like he can't make like tough decisions, like not like tough decisions on like to protect his family, but like because he like honestly, if a human had to kill to survive, they would. Doesn't matter if they're lighthearted or anything, they would kill to survive and especially protect their family. But I feel like me and my dad would be the leaders. Like we would take charge, both of us, me and him. There would be not like a set leader. Obviously, I would.
For me, it's like a morality standpoint. You know, like I have to stick with my family because I love my family. You know,
you can't just leave them.
Yeah, you can't leave them. But here's the thing.
Because like especially in your case, you have like 2 sisters that are like what? How old?
They're 8 now.
They're gonna be 8. You have.
But they're also annoying and loud, which is it's a big issue.
But like if they know what's going on and everything, humans aren't that
like
stupid.
If they can grasp
the magnitude of things.
Yeah, the situation.
But like, yeah, I would definitely stick with my family.
Yeah.
Oh, we have a bunch of chickens. We have a bunch of chickens, and we have God knows how many chickens. We have 2 turkeys, 4 ducks.
That'll keep you going for a hot minute.
Yeah, like a plan would be like get the master bedroom. My parents like clear that out completely, and put all the animals in there with obviously like some like room, like some gaps in the windows for them to like breathe and get sunlight and everything. And like just keep them there, because if you don't, other people are gonna get them, or they're gonna starve to death, because we're not just gonna go out there for stupid reasons to feed an animal. Honestly, so we would just keep them in there. We'd kill the roosters because they're honestly useless. They don't lay eggs. We would keep, I guess, 5 hens for like 5 eggs daily and everything, or however they lay every day.
Whenever they stop laying eggs, you just Yeah, just
kill
take them around back, show them God. You know.
Um,
That's what I'm gonna tell my kids. Whenever they're acting out, better behave before I take you around back and show you God.
oh my god.
What do you think about like zombie movies? Like, what's your favorite zombie movie?
I honestly don't watch many zombie movies. I don't like the zombie genre that much. The only things I've watched zombie related are Zombieland and Walking Dead. And The Walking Dead I could only stand it for like
There's a
4
point where
seasons.
yeah,
And then it's just human conflict after that point.
there's a point where Walking Dead just goes downhill.
It just goes political.
For me, one of my favorite comedy movies ever is Shaun of the Dead, and I don't think you've ever seen that, but it's a British movie, and it's most of the movie is them not even realizing that there's a zombie apocalypse going on, so he just lives like his everyday life.
Oh wait. That thought. My first reaction I would try and go like, what the heck is going on with the internet? Why isn't it working? Like that would be like, I wouldn't even think of a zombie apocalypse. Like, where the fuck is the internet? Because like obviously the internet's gonna go down. Everything's gonna go down.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, one other thing. I would try and look up the nearest nuclear power plant, because if those don't go attended for like at least at max a week, they blow up.
Mm-hmm.
And they release radiation. So I just like get away from those.
That's the first thing you think of whenever there's a zombie apocalypse.
What?
Not, I have to protect my family. Where's the nearest nuclear power plant?
Yeah, because like, think about it. Like, if that thing blows up, you're screwed either way. If you're protecting your family or not.
Is there a nuclear power plant in here?
I don't know. I don't know. We're in the middle of nowhere. But I think there obviously has to be one in a big city. But I would move to like Nebraska. No one cares about Nebraska, so they don't have anything there.
Let's transition.
Okay, back to the zombie movie.
Well, I mean, like, let's talk about the horror movie as the horror movie genre as a whole. Like, clearly you're a fan of horror movies. Now, what is your favorite like horror movie overall? What reigns supreme? Because for me, like, I like more suspenseful horror as opposed to like constant in your face jump scares. You know.
Well, it depends, because there's like different types of horrors. There's like, okay, horrors is like the Catholic Church.
What?
The horror movies are like Catholic Church. Obviously, horror is the Pope. Then you get branches of that. Then you get the bishops, right, or however that thing goes. That's
I don't
different.
know how the Catholic Church works.
I think that's how it works. There's like rankings above them,
Okay.
below them. It's like each category. There's gore horror. There's psychological horror. There's
Does gore freak you out? Because it does not freak me out.
No, man.
No,
I go on freaking gore.com. Hashtag not sponsored.
What?
Gore.com or best gore. It shows you gore of everything.
That's kind of weird.
It's just gore, bro.
It's just gore, bro. But I mean, like, it's just fake blood. Like, yeah, sure. It kind of.
No. Best gore isn't fake.
No, I'm talking about like horror movies.
Oh.
Like, it's obviously fake, but like, it's obviously also it looks gross.
The
but...
worst gore movie I've ever seen was Green Inferno. Remember we watched that?
Yeah, we watched that.
There was
together.
literally the guy, the Thickin, that was they got him in the freaking on the rock, and they just started chopping his limbs off while he was alive.
They poked his eyeballs out, cut his tongue out.
No, they ate his eyeballs. Like,
which the Green Inferno is actually a remake.
Yeah,
of an older movie. But that older movie, the guy that directed it got in trouble because
he used like real corpse, like skeletons or something.
Yeah, like he actually went out in the wild to an indigenous tribe like that, and they like tortured animals on screen, and they like cut the animals up. And apparently, he got in a lot of trouble for it, but they decided to remake it. Yeah, it's just demented, but.
But like, okay, so there's going back to the branches. There's gore, psychological. My favorite gore movie is obviously Green Inferno, because of the gore. Psychological horror would have to be. There's this movie on Netflix called Fractured, and it's just wild. you'd have to watch it. It's about this guy that, like, without telling you the whole, like,
Did we watch it or together?
was it about the dude that went into a hospital with his kids and they took the mom and daughter?
I don't know what you're talking
Okay,
about.
but like, okay, so like, essentially what this is about is this guy and his wife and his kid make a rest stop. Girl gets her arm fractured.
I see what you did there.
I get that reference.
I get that. Yeah, that's very clever.
So then they decided to like take her to the freaking nearest Yeehaw hospital because they're in the middle of buttfuck nowhere, and they say, oh, we're gonna take your daughter and wife back like down to the lab or something, and he falls asleep, wakes up, and he realizes that they're gone, and he's trying to find them because he obviously took them there, which and like the freaking doctors and medics and nurses are like all very suspicious and everything. So he's like, it's like really psychological at one point.
One of my favorite horror movies, and what I think is the scariest horror movie, is The Ring. Did you ever watch The Ring? The
No.
whole 7 days thing. It's honestly like one of the most freakiest movies I've ever seen. The first movie that like I really got like terrified at was Sinister, which we watched the second one together.
No, it wasn't Sinister. It was Insidious.
No, Insidious is different. Insidious freaked me out too, but Sinister was the guy that with the boogeyman, you know,
Oh yeah.
where in the first one they get videotapes of like these families committing mass suicides and stuff like
No,
that.
that was Insidious too.
That was
2.
not Insidious.
Yes, you're right. Okay. You're right. I remember.
I was about to Google.
But
It's a deadly weapon. Newer horror movies are focused more on like jump scares, easy scares, you know.
Yep.
That's why I think a lot of the new horror stuff that come out is.
Let me tell you, like,
not
my
good.
favorite horror movies real quick, and then I'll answer that. Like, okay, so the paranormal one has to be the Amityville Horror. It's like a remake of another movie. That one's really good. It's on Netflix too.
Did we watch that?
Was it about the guy that they moved into this house and then
He starts going insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was really good.
and like comedic horror has to be Scary Movie 5. That one's
I've never seen a scary
that's
movie.
the best one.
We're gonna have to watch a scary movie after this
We're
because
gonna
I've
have
never
to.
I've never seen it.
You're gonna have to look up where it's at. Okay, so back to your question. Obviously, I like watching scary movies a lot, and the only platform I have to watch scary movies, it used to be Netflix, Hulu too, but all I have is Netflix. And Netflix is like a freaking rabbit. They just push out a freaking horror movie every freaking week, a Netflix original. They all freaking suck. They all have like, they have what you said, the freaking like stupid jump scares trying to get you like the cheap shit and all that, and their plots are really stupid. Honestly, it's the dumbest plots, worst acting ever, and at the end they try to like be creative and leave you with a cliffhanger, or like decide what happens, stuff like that, or yeah, and that's what I freaking hate the most. There's this movie on Netflix too called Truth or Dare. Not the Blumhouse one, not the good one. The Blumhouse one, not that one, where they go to Mexico. Not that one. It's like this generic one, literally just called Truth or Dare. It's on Netflix.
You know, I'm a big old puss, so I don't watch a lot of scary movies. I've never seen like the Truth or Dare movie on Netflix either. So.
Okay, so like what essentially happens is these it starts out with a group of friends, and there's two left, and they're in this house and they're playing Truth or Dare, and one of the friends dies, and then this house like sends a dare to the last girl and says, pour acid on your head. So what she does is she grabs like baking soda and all that, like makes like this coat of whatever it is to cover her face, and then drops it, and then it says 28 years later or something like that. And a new group of friends come in because someone rented the house and everything, and it's like stupid, like, oh, this isn't real, this is just a stupid Halloween prank. Then it starts getting real, and they're like, oh my gosh, no, it's not real, and then it gets real and everything. It's just
that was amazing. Just it gets real, but it's not real. You know, then it gets a little bit more real,
and then it's real,
slightly less real.
But yeah, it's stupid acting, honestly. And I'm not gonna spoil the ending for you, big boy, because we're gonna watch this afterwards.
Oh.
It's not scary. Literally, the most scariest part is there aren't even jump scares because there's not a demon or like a physical demon you can see. It's literally just a house sending truth or dares.
You know, one of the scary movies that I think was actually really well directed, but also was more along the lines of cheap jump scares just to get an easy scare out of you, that we actually saw together in theaters was The Nun.
Oh my god!
Was
So, The Nun is part of the Conjuring universe. The movie The Conjuring. The first Conjuring movie, when it came out, everyone was like peeing their pants and like,
ooh,
and like, oh my gosh, it's the scariest movie of all time. But no, the Amityville Horror is honestly the most scariest movie I've ever seen. Not the scariest movie. Okay, it is the scariest
we
movie
have to
I've ever
watch
seen.
The Ring because The Ring is honestly terrifying.
I've never seen The Ring. But Conjuring came out. I mean, it was a good movie. What I didn't like was that they started like making a franchise out of it. They should have only just like stopped after The Conjuring 2, because even The Conjuring 2 was like already like, okay, chill out, man. You're like bringing too much. They have like what, like 3 Annabelle movies, 2 Annabelle movies.
Oh yeah,
They have
they
2
just crank them
Conjuring.
out. You know,
They have 2 Conjuring movies. There's one coming out this year too, I think.
they're just easy to make money off of.
Yeah, and there's The Nun too.
Which
The Nun literally came from The Conjuring 2 because the female protagonist was like, I saw this nun in my dreams and all that. And she was like haunting her and her child. So then they made a spin-off of it.
I went back and I watched The Nun fairly recently, and it's not as scary as I remember it being. I remember in theaters just freaking out, just... Look at me, Camillo, please. I don't want to look at the screen. It's scary.
Whenever we went to the freaking movie theater.
Do you another like part of the horror genre is the cheap serial killer movie? You know, like Jason, Friday the 13th, or Nightmare on Elm Street, stuff like that. But we actually went with a group of friends to watch the most recent Halloween movie. And
oh, you remember that one scene wherever the old lady or whatever was outside and Michael Myers was looking out the window and she's like, Michael, and Michael's like just turns around and he's like
it is honestly the most unintentionally funny experience I've ever had in a movie theater, because it's a horror movie. It's not only is it a horror movie, but it's a horror movie that's not supposed to be funny, but just clips taken out of context. The part when when Michael crushes the guy's head like a pumpkin.
Yeah, just goes everywhere.
Our friend actually got so scared in that movie he jumped and threw his popcorn everywhere, causing a scene.
Was that Ethan?
That was Ethan.
Oh,
Ethan, want to come on the podcast?
No.
Oh, okay.
But now that I think about it, Fractured isn't my favorite psychological movie. It has to be Us by Jordan Peele.
Never seen it. I saw Get Out with the other...
I've never seen Get Out.
Get Out was pretty good.
I want to see it, but Us... I have a feeling Get Out is better than Us, but Us is a really good movie.
I think if we've learned anything on this podcast is that we have a ton of movies to watch together.
You're right.
Yeah, we need to... After this, let's just binge all night. Stay up all night.
Watching cheap-ass horror movies and Jordan Peele, the freaking mastermind.
Yeah, I'll make us coffee, dude. With almond milk?
No, that's disgusting.
Sorry.
How do you get milk out of an almond? They don't have
Okay.
little nipples.
Okay, are you a ranch fan, okay? Sorry.
I'm going to send you to Ram Ranch, bro. What the fuck were we talking about?
We're talking about horror movies.
We were talking about, like, the serial killer ones. Okay, so, like, the serial killer ones, I never really liked those. Because, like, you see the freaking... the serial killer and everything, and...
Yeah, they're not scary.
Because, like, okay, there's obviously a group of friends in these movies, but you know which one is, like, the main protagonist, you know?
Yeah.
And you know that one's gonna survive. I saw, like, this video once saying that Hollywood sugarcoats everything, where the protagonist always wins and the antagonist always loses. But actually, like
sir, you've never seen Endgame? I mean, freaking Infinity War.
You're stupid. But no, they say, like, in Europe, not Europe, but, like, in okay, in Europe, like Germany and Russia and those areas, like their movies, like there's some movies that they have that like the freaking protagonist is actually like the villain, not the villain, but like the protagonist loses. It doesn't have a happy ending, and never.
Yeah.
There are some movies that don't have a happy ending, and movies that Hollywood has made or America has made, and all that. I don't. Off the top of my head, I can't give you a movie where the movie doesn't have a happy ending. Oh, we forgot one horror genre. I don't know what this freaking horror genre is called. Like Jaws and 42 Meters Down, like with animals and all that.
It's just called Big Shark Movie is all it is. Which, did me and you watch The Meg together? I watched The Meg with somebody.
Yeah, it wasn't me because you freaking hate me.
I love you.
I don't.
I'll kiss you right now. But The Meg, it was more like it was not a horror movie. It was more like an action-packed
suspense.
Movie. Yeah, there's this point where who's the main actor in that movie? I almost said Bruce Willis. It is not Bruce Willis.
It's the dude from the movie The Transporter.
He's Hobbs and Shaw.
I know.
Yeah. Anyways, there's a point where he actually gets on the back of the shark and tries to stab his eye out.
Are you serious?
Yes, it's stupid, but it was funny, and that's what I like about these horror genre movies. If I can, okay, we're gonna talk for a minute about good experiences in the movie and bad experiences in the movies. If I can watch a horror movie but get a laugh out of it, the new Halloween movie was an objectively bad horror movie. It was not scary, but it was unintentionally funny. So I still got like a kick out of it. I still got a little high off of it, you know?
Yeah, that's literally all Netflix movies. Like 90% of the Netflix original horror movies that they have on there is literally just that terrible acting and just funny crap. Like if I would have had to rate a horror movie, like for example that Truth or Dare movie I showed you, as a horror movie I would rate it a 2 out of 10, but as a comedy it'd be like a 9 out of 10. It's really freaking hilarious.
We'll watch it.
It's on Netflix. So I mean, I guess that's the end of our podcast right now.
I can think of no better way to end our podcast other than let's just go watch a couple horror movies.
Yeah, we're gonna watch a couple horror movies. Next podcast, we're gonna give you like a little 5-minute review of what we thought of each movie. Okay, so the movies we're gonna watch is let's rewatch Green Inferno again.
Rewatch it? I don't know if I can do that again.
With a girl pair of balls.
Okay, maybe I will. I will.
We'll try and find The Ring. The Truth or Dare movie. Is that all?
Yeah, that's all we need to watch for 3 movies in one night.
Probably the Amityville Horror. Next podcast, we're gonna talk to you about like a minute synopsis of each movie and what we thought about it. What we would rate it as a horror movie.
We're gonna do a quick fire round.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so next podcast.
Thank you all for joining us.
No, wait, hold on.
Oh, don't interrupt.
We're gonna give a little sneak peek of the next.
Don't
podcast.
interrupt me while I'm interrupting you. Okay.
I'm gonna freaking eat you.
Oh.
Next podcast, we're gonna talk about a very special series, a very special trilogy that has a very special place in my heart.
We'll give you a little hint. It's directed by one Sam Raimi,
and talks about a
certain web slinger.
A certain web slinger with a web head. Oh, would you look at that? You guessed it. It's Spider-Man, the Sam Raimi trilogy, starring Tobey Maguire as Peter Porker
and Kirsten Dunst as
Mary Jane.
Mary
Jane.
Mary Jane Watson.
Who else is in that movie?
Which one? Oh, William Dafoe is Gobby, the Green Gobbler.
And who was the other one? Harry.
Oh, James Franco.
James Franco is
the
Harry
best,
Osborn.
The best trilogy ever.
Best trilogy ever. We're gonna give those a watch, and then next podcast we're gonna talk about them.
Honestly, we should probably rewatch all 3 of those.
I know, like the third one's on Netflix. I know the other 2 aren't on Netflix.
The other 2 are on Hulu, I think.
No, they're not. I've tried. I think the first one's on Hulu.
Well, anyways, we're wasting your time. Thank you all for joining us on this podcast. We hope that you join us again for this for another lovely adventure of the Rice and Beans podcast. Thank you, everybody, and goodbye.
Wait, hold on.
Whoa!
Hold on, Rice. Hold on, Rice.
Don't call me Bean.
Hold on, Rice. So, we're going to try and give y'all, like, a very good schedule. We're going to try and give y'all, like, at least once a week uploads. Possibly if we're feeling, hype enough, we possibly could do 2.
And we might
Bring in a special guest.
Might have a couple guests in here. A couple crazy, wacky characters that we might know.
I'll give you a hint. One starts with a letter of the alphabet. There you go. Well, it was nice. It was nice starting this new series, this new podcast.
Just a gay old time.
Yeah, we're just having a gay old time here. So this was Rice and Beans. I'm
Rice.
I'm Beans.
And thank you all for joining us. And have a pleasant day.